The world has gone quiet. Shadows stretch across the walls. Let your thoughts grow soft. A story waits in the stillness. If it brings you peace, like, subscribe, and tap the bell so you never miss a night. Now let the story find you. You step into the town of Hollow Vale as dusk settles like a sigh. The air is cool, carrying the scent of wood smoke and damp earth. Your boots crunch on the gravel path leading to the heart of the village, where lanterns glow faintly, strung across the square like forgotten stars. The Lantern Festival is tonight, a tradition older than anyone can recall, and you've come to see it for yourself. You've heard the stories, whispers of strange happenings, of lights that flicker without wind, of a guest who lingers long after the festival ends. Your curiosity pulls you forward, a moth to the flame. The square is alive with soft laughter and the clink of glasses. Villagers move in small clusters, their faces warmed by the golden light. You feel their eyes on you, a stranger in their midst, but their smiles are kind, almost too kind. A woman with silver hair and a shawl embroidered with moons offers you a cup of spiced cider. Her name is Clara, she says, and her voice is low, like she's sharing a secret. You take the cider, its warmth seeping into your palms, and thank her. She lingers a moment, her gaze searching yours, before turning back to the crowd. You wander through the square, the lanterns casting patterns on your skin. Each one is unique, hand-painted with swirls of color, their light trembling as if alive. You pause by a stall where a man sells charms, small trinkets of glass and bone. He calls himself Elias, his eyes sharp despite his weathered face. You ask about the festival's history, and he leans closer, his voice a conspiratorial murmur. The lanterns, he says, are more than decoration. They're offerings, lit to guide someone or something home. You laugh, thinking it's just folklore, but his expression doesn't waver. He presses a charm into your hand, a tiny lantern carved from bone, and tells you to keep it close tonight. As you slip the charm into your pocket, a bell rings deep and resonant, cutting through the chatter. The crowd hushes, turning toward a wooden stage at the square's center. A man steps forward, tall and broad-shouldered, his coat the color of midnight. This is Gideon, the festival's keeper, his presence commanding yet warm. He raises a lantern, its flame brighter than the rest, and begins to speak. His words weave a tale of the first festival, centuries ago, when a lost traveler found refuge in Hollow Vale. The villagers lit lanterns to guide him back, but he never left. Gideon's voice drops, and you feel a chill, not from the air, but from the weight of his words. The traveler, he says, still walks among them, drawn to the lantern's light each year. You glance around, noticing how the crowd leans in, their faces a mix of reverence and unease. Gideon's story feels alive, as if the traveler might step out of the shadows at any moment. You shake off the thought, sipping your cider, but the charm in your pocket feels heavier now. The festival continues, music swelling as couples dance under the lanterns. You're drawn to the rhythm, your feet moving almost against your will. A young woman named Lila, with eyes like storm clouds, takes your hand, pulling you into the dance. Her laughter is infectious, but there's something fleeting in her touch, like she's not entirely here. As you spin with Lila, the lanterns seem to pulse, their light growing brighter, then dimmer, in time with your heartbeat. You catch glimpses of faces in the crowd, some familiar, some not. A man with a scar across his cheek watches you, his expression unreadable. You blink and he's gone, swallowed by the sea of dancers. Lila leans close, her breath warm against your ear, and whispers that you should stay for the final lantern lighting. It's the heart of the festival, she says when the last guest arrives. You ask who the last guest is, but she only smiles, slipping away into the crowd. The night deepens, and you find yourself at the edge of the square, where the lantern's light doesn't quite reach. A narrow path leads into the woods, and you feel an urge to follow it, though you can't say why. The charm in your pocket is warm now, almost burning, and you pull it out, its tiny lantern shape glowing faintly. You look back at the festival, the music and laughter distant now, and wonder if you should stay or go. Something tells you the night is far from over, and the story of the last guest is only beginning. You stand at the edge of the square, the festival's glow fading behind you as the path into the woods beckons. The charm in your hand pulses with a faint warmth, its carved lantern shape catching the last of the lantern light. You hesitate, glancing back at the crowd where laughter and music weave together like a spell. The path ahead is dark, the trees swallowing the light, but something pulls you forward, a thread of curiosity or maybe something deeper. You pocket the charm and take your first step, the gravel crunching underfoot, the sound sharp in the quiet. The woods are cooler, the air thick with the scent of pine and moss. Your breath catches as you move deeper, the festival's noise fading until it's just a hum in the distance. The path is narrow, winding between gnarled trees that seem to lean closer as you pass. You notice faint glimmers in the underbrush, like tiny sparks, but when you look directly, they vanish. Your heart beats faster, not from fear, but from the sense that you're not alone. The charm in your pocket grows warmer, a steady pulse against your thigh. You come to a clearing where a single lantern hangs from a low branch, its flame flickering despite the still air. It's different from the ones in the square, older, its glass cracked, but still holding the light. You approach, drawn to its glow, and notice a faint inscription on the base, for the one who waits. Your fingers brush the glass, and for a moment the flame flares, casting your shadow long and distorted across the clearing. You pull your hand back, startled, and hear a soft laugh behind you. Turning, you see Lila, the woman from the dance, her storm cloud eyes glinting in the lantern's light. She's alone, her dress swaying as if caught in a breeze you can't feel. You ask how she got here, but she only tilts her head, her smile both playful and knowing. She says she wanted to make sure you didn't get lost. You laugh a little uneasy and ask about the lantern. Lila steps closer, her voice soft, almost a whisper. She tells you it's one of the old ones, lit for someone who never made it back. Her words hang in the air, and you feel that chill again, the one that's not from the cold. Lila gestures for you to follow her deeper into the woods, promising to show you something special. You hesitate, the festival's warmth calling you back, but her eyes hold yours and you find yourself nodding. The path narrows further, the trees pressing in, their branches like fingers brushing your shoulders. Lila moves ahead, her steps silent, her figure almost blending with the shadows. You call out asking where you're going, but she only glances back, her smile unchanged, and says it's a place where the lanterns tell their secrets. As you walk, you notice more lanterns, scattered among the trees, their flames small but steady. Each one feels like a marker, guiding you somewhere or to someone. You ask Lila about the last guest, remembering her words from the dance, but she doesn't answer directly. Instead, she tells you a story about a woman who came to the festival years ago, a stranger like you who wandered too far into the woods. The woman saw something, Lila says, something that made her stay. You ask what it was, but Lila shakes her head, saying some things are better seen than told. The path opens to another clearing, this one larger, with a circle of lanterns casting a soft glow. In the center stands a stone well, its edges worn smooth by time. You feel a pull toward it, like the charm in your pocket is tugging you forward. Lila stops at the edge of the clearing, her expression unreadable now. She tells you to look into the well, that it holds the heart of the festival. You step closer, the lantern's light reflecting in the well's dark water. You lean over, expecting to see your own reflection, but instead, you see a flicker of something else, a face that isn't yours. Your breath catches, and you step back, looking to Lila for an explanation. But she's gone, the clearing empty except for you and the lanterns. You call her name, your voice echoing, but there's no answer. The charm in your pocket is almost too hot to touch now, and you pull it out, its glow brighter than before. The lanterns around you seem to pulse in response, their flames rising and falling like breaths. You're alone, but the air feels heavy, like someone is watching, waiting. You look back at the well, its water still now, and wonder what you saw, and why Lila brought you here before vanishing into the night. You stand frozen by the well, the lantern's glow casting trembling shadows across the clearing. The face you saw in the water lingers in your mind, its features blurred but somehow familiar, like a dream you can't quite grasp. Your fingers tighten around the bone charm, its warmth grounding you as you scan the empty clearing. Lila's absence feels like a hole in the air, her sudden disappearance leaving you with more questions than answers. You call her name again, softer this time, but the only response is the rustle of leaves and a breeze you still can't feel. You step back from the well, its dark surface now reflecting only the lanterns above. The charm in your hand pulses faintly, as if urging you to move. You're torn between returning to the festival's safety and exploring further, but the clearing feels alive, the lanterns watching like silent sentinels. You notice a narrow path leading away, barely visible, marked by a single lantern hanging from a twisted branch. Its flame flickers, beckoning you forward, and against your better judgment, you follow. The path is overgrown, roots tangling underfoot as you move deeper into the woods. The air grows heavier, carrying a faint sweetness, like overripe fruit. You catch glimpses of more lanterns in the distance, their lights winking through the trees. Each step feels like a choice, a commitment to whatever this night is leading you toward. The charm's heat is steady now, almost comforting, and you hold it tighter, its carved lantern shape pressing into your palm. You hear footsteps behind you, soft but deliberate. You turn, expecting Lila, but instead you see the man from the festival, the one with the scar across his cheek. He's closer now, his eyes locked on yours, his expression a mix of curiosity and something darker, like regret. He introduces himself as Thomas, his voice rough but not unkind. You ask if he's following you, and he laughs, a low sound that doesn't reach his eyes. He says he's just walking, same as you, drawn to the lanterns like everyone else. But there's a weight to his words, a hint that he knows more than he's letting on. Thomas falls into step beside you, uninvited but not unwelcome. He talks as you walk, his voice weaving through the quiet. He tells you about the festival's unspoken rules. Never blow out a lantern, never stray too far from the square, and never look too long into the well. You ask why, but he only shrugs, saying some things are just known. You press him about the last guest, hoping for clarity, but he glances away, his scar catching the lantern light. He says the guest is someone who belongs to the festival now, someone the lanterns chose. His words are vague, but they stir something in you, a mix of unease and fascination. The path leads to a small wooden bridge over a stream, its water black and still, reflecting the lanterns like a mirror. You pause, noticing a cluster of lanterns on the other side, their flames brighter than the rest. Thomas stops too, his gaze fixed on the bridge. He tells you a story about a girl who crossed this bridge during the festival, years ago. She was looking for someone, he says, someone she'd lost. She found them, but not the way she expected. You ask what happened, but Thomas shakes his head, saying the story's not his to finish. You step onto the bridge, the wood creaking under your weight. The charm in your pocket flares with heat, and you pull it out, its glow matching the lanterns across the stream. Thomas watches you, his expression unreadable, and asks if you're sure you want to keep going. You nod, though doubt gnaws at you. The lanterns on the other side seem to call, their light pulling you like a tide. You cross the bridge, each step echoing in the stillness, and Thomas follows, his presence a shadow at your back. On the other side you find a small grove, the lanterns forming a circle around a single tree. Its branches are heavy with more lanterns, their flames casting a kaleidoscope of light. You feel a strange pull, like the tree is the heart of something ancient. Thomas stays at the edge of the grove, his hands in his pockets, watching you. You ask why he's not coming closer, and he says he's been here before. His voice is quieter now, almost sad, and you wonder what he's seen in this place. You approach the tree, the charm burning in your hand. The lantern's light seems to pulse with your heartbeat, and you feel a presence, not threatening but heavy, like a memory you didn't know you had. You look up at the tree, its branches swaying without wind, and see something caught in the leaves. A ribbon, pale and tattered, fluttering like it's alive. You reach for it, your fingers brushing the fabric, and for a moment the world tilts, the lanterns flaring brighter, the grove humming with a sound you can't name. You pull back, the ribbon slipping from your grasp, and turn to Thomas, but he's gone, the grove empty except for you and the endless watching light. You stand alone in the grove, the lantern's glow pulsing around the ancient tree. The ribbon you touched sways gently, caught in a breeze you still can't feel. Your heart races, the charm in your hand almost too hot to hold, its carved lantern shape glowing brighter than ever. You look around for Thomas, but the grove is empty. His absence is sudden as Lila's. The air feels thicker now, heavy with something unspoken, and you wonder if you've wandered too far from the festival's warmth. Yet the lantern's light holds you here, their flames flickering like they're whispering your name. You step closer to the tree, drawn to the ribbon again. It's pale, almost silver, its edges frayed, but shimmering in the lantern light. You reach for it once more, careful this time, and as your fingers brush the fabric, a memory flashes through your mind, not yours but vivid all the same. A woman's laughter, a hand pulling you through a crowd, the scent of cider and smoke. You blink, the grove snapping back into focus, and the ribbon slips through your fingers, fluttering higher into the branches. You step back, your breath shallow, unsure what just happened, but certain it wasn't just your imagination. The lanterns around you seem to hum, their light swelling and fading in a rhythm that matches your pulse. You feel watched, not by eyes, but by something older, something woven into the grove itself. You call out, asking if anyone's there, but your voice sounds small, swallowed by the trees. The charm in your pocket burns, and you pull it out, its glow casting shadows that dance across the tree's bark. You notice carvings on the trunk, names etched in a spiral, too many to count. Some are worn, barely legible, while others look fresh, as if carved yesterday. Your fingers trace one, and the name feels familiar, though you can't place why. A rustle behind you makes you turn, and you see Clara, the silver-haired woman from the festival, standing at the edge of the grove. Her moon-embroidered shawl glimmers faintly, and her eyes hold a quiet intensity. You ask how she found you, but she only smiles, saying the lanterns always guide those who need to be found. Her voice is calm, but there's an edge to it, like she's choosing her words carefully. You ask about the tree and the names, and she steps closer, her gaze flicking to the ribbon still caught in the branches. Clara tells you the tree is the festival's heart, older than Hollow Vale itself. The names, she says, belong to those who stayed, who became part of the festival's story. You ask what that means, but she shakes her head, her smile softening. She says some questions are better answered by the lanterns. You glance at the glowing charms around you, their flames steady now, and feel that pull again, stronger this time. Clara gestures to a path leading out of the grove, one you hadn't noticed before, and tells you it leads to the festival's final ritual. You hesitate, the memory of the well and the ribbon still lingering, but her presence is steadying, like an anchor in the strange night. You follow Clara down the path, the lanterns growing sparse as the trees thin. She walks ahead, her steps silent, her shawl catching the light like liquid silver. You ask about Leela and Thomas, wondering why they vanished, but Clara only says they're part of the festival, same as you. Her words are cryptic, and you feel a flicker of frustration, but there's something in her tone that keeps you moving forward. The path opens to a small hill, where a single lantern burns at the top, its flame brighter than any you've seen. Clara stops at the base, turning to you with a look that's both gentle and urgent. She tells you the final ritual is near, where the last guest is welcomed. You ask who the guest is, your voice sharper now, but Clara only points to the lantern on the hill. She says it's lit for someone who's been waiting a long time. You feel the charm in your pocket flare, its heat spreading through you, and you start up the hill, drawn to the light. Clara doesn't follow, her figure fading into the shadows as you climb. The lantern's flame grows brighter with each step, and you feel that same presence from the grove, stronger now, like a heartbeat in the air. At the top you find a small circle of stones, the lantern at its center. Its flame doesn't flicker, steady and warm, and you feel an urge to touch it, to understand what it's calling to. You reach out, your fingers inches from the glass, when you hear a voice behind you, soft and familiar. It's Lila standing just outside the circle, her storm cloud eyes reflecting the flame. She says you're close now, closer than most, and her smile is tinged with something like sadness. You ask what she means, but she steps back, her form blurring at the edges, and says only that the lantern knows your name. Before you can speak, she's gone again, leaving you alone with the light and the weight of a choice you don't yet understand. You stand atop the hill, the single lantern's flame casting a steady glow across the circle of stones. Lila's words echo in your mind, her cryptic farewell leaving a knot in your chest. The charm in your pocket burns hotter, its light seeping through your fingers as you clutch it. You look down at the carved lantern shape, its glow mirroring the one before you, and feel a strange certainty that you're meant to be here, though why remains a shadow just out of reach. The night is quiet, the festival's distant hum barely audible now, as if the world is holding its breath. You step closer to the lantern, its flame unwavering, almost alive. The stones around it are etched with symbols worn and faint, like whispers of forgotten promises. You kneel, tracing one with your fingertip, and a shiver runs through you, not from cold, but from a memory that isn't yours. A hand lighting a lantern, a voice calling a name you almost recognize. You pull back, your breath catching, and notice something glinting among the stones. It's a small ring, silver and simple, half buried in the earth. You pick it up, its metal cool against your skin, and feel a pang, like you found something you didn't know you'd lost. The charm in your hand pulses, and you glance at the lantern, its flame flaring brighter for a moment. You feel watched, not by eyes, but by the light itself, as if it knows you. You slip the ring onto your finger, testing its weight, and the air shifts, growing heavier, sweeter, like the scent of the woods, but stronger. You hear footsteps, soft and measured, and turn to see Elias, the charm seller from the festival, standing just outside the stone circle. His weathered face is softer now, his sharp eyes glinting with something like recognition. You ask what he's doing here, and he says he's come to see the ritual, same as you. Elias steps closer, careful not to cross the stones, and nods toward the lantern. He tells you it's the first lantern, the one that started it all. Lit for a traveler who never left, he says its flame burns for someone new each year. You ask if he means the last guest, and he nods, his gaze flicking to the ring on your finger. He says some things find their way back, even after years. His words are heavy, and you feel the ring tighten slightly, though it's just your imagination, or so you tell yourself. You ask Elias about the ritual, what it means to welcome the last guest. He hesitates, his hands fidgeting with a small charm like the one he gave you. He says it's a moment of choice, where the lanterns decide who stays and who goes. You laugh, thinking it's another story, but his expression is serious, almost pleading. He tells you to listen to the lantern, to feel what it's asking. You look at the flame, its light warm and steady, and feel that pull again, stronger now, like a tide drawing you in. Elias steps back, his figure blending with the shadows, and tells you to be careful what you promise the light. Before you can ask more, he's gone, his footsteps fading into the night. You're alone again, the lantern's glow wrapping around you like a cloak. You feel the ring on your finger, the charm in your hand, and the weight of the moment pressing down. You step into the center of the stone circle, the lantern's flame flaring as you do. You feel a hum in the air, like a song you've always known but forgotten, and the symbols on the stones begin to glow faintly, their light pulsing with the charm. You hear a whisper not from outside but within, soft and urgent, calling your name. You look into the lantern's flame, and for a moment you see something, a figure, blurred but familiar, reaching out. Your heart pounds and you step back, the vision fading. The ring feels heavier now, the charm almost burning, and you wonder if you're meant to stay or run. The lantern's light doesn't waver, but it feels like a question, one you're not sure you're ready to answer. Footsteps approach again, and you turn, hoping it's Elias or Lila, but it's Gideon, the festival's keeper, his midnight coat blending with the dark. His presence is calm but commanding, his lantern held high, its flame matching the one before you. He smiles, but there's a sadness in it, like he's seen this moment before. He says you're close to the heart of the festival now, closer than most ever get. You ask what happens next, and he gestures to the lantern, saying it's time to choose. His words are gentle, but they carry a weight that makes your chest tighten. You look at the flame, the ring, the charm, and feel the night closing in, waiting for you to decide. You stand within the circle of stones, the lantern's flame burning steadily before you, its light weaving through the air like a living thing. Gideon's words hang heavy, his talk of choice making your pulse quicken. The ring on your finger feels alive, its cool metal pressing against your skin, while the charm in your hand glows with a warmth that seems to hum in time with the lantern. You look at Gideon, his tall figure framed by the night, his own lantern casting shadows that flicker across his face. You ask what he means by choosing, but his smile is enigmatic, his eyes reflecting the flame's glow. He says the lantern already knows your heart. It's up to you to listen. You step closer to the lantern, its light pulling you like a tide. The symbols on the stones pulse faintly, their glow sensing with the charm in your hand. You feel a connection, not just to the lantern, but to the hill, the grove, the well, all the places you've wandered tonight. It's as if the festival has been leading you here, step by step, to this moment. You glance at the ring, its silver catching the light, and that strange memory flashes again. Laughter, a hand in yours, the scent of cider. You shake it off, but it lingers like a song stuck in your head. Gideon steps into the circle, his movements slow, deliberate. He doesn't touch the lantern, but stands beside it, his presence grounding, yet unsettling. He tells you a story, his voice low and measured, about a man who stood where you are now, years ago. The man was a stranger like you, drawn to the festival, by chance or fate. He saw the lantern, felt its call, and made a choice. Gideon pauses, his eyes searching yours, and says the man stayed, becoming part of Hollow Vale forever. You ask what he chose, but Gideon only gestures to the lantern, saying it's different for everyone. You feel the weight of his words, the ring tightening on your finger, the charm burning in your palm. You ask Gideon who the last guest is, hoping for a straight answer, but he shakes his head, his smile softening. He says the guest is whoever the lantern claims, whoever feels its light and answers. You look at the flame, its steady glow almost hypnotic, and feel that whisper again, your name woven into it. You step closer, your hand hovering over the lantern's glass, and the world seems to hold its breath, the night narrowing to this single point of light. A sound breaks the silence, a soft rustle from the edge of the circle. You turn to see Lila standing there, her storm cloud eyes wide, her dress catching the lantern's glow. She looks different now, her edges softer, like she's part of the light itself. You call her name, but she doesn't move closer, her gaze fixed on the lantern. She says you're almost there, almost at the truth of the festival. Her voice is gentle but urgent, and you feel a pang, wondering why she keeps appearing and vanishing. You ask why she's here, and she smiles, a sad curve of her lips, saying she never really left. Lila steps just inside the circle, her movements careful, like she's afraid to disturb something. She tells you to look at the lantern, really look, and you'll see what it holds. You hesitate, the charm pulsing in your hand, the ring heavy on your finger. You glance at Gideon, but he's watching Lila now, his expression unreadable. You turn back to the lantern, leaning closer, and the flame seems to shift, forming shapes within its light. You see a figure, blurred at first, then clearer. A woman, her face like the one from the well, her eyes meeting yours. Your breath catches and you step back, the vision fading. Lila speaks again, her voice barely above a whisper. She says the lantern shows what's lost, what's waiting to be found. You ask if she means the last guest, and she nods, her eyes glistening. She says the guest is someone who belongs to the lanterns now, someone who chose to stay. You feel a chill, not from the air but from the weight of her words. You look at the ring, the charm, the lantern, and feel the night pressing in, urging you to decide. Gideon steps closer, his lantern casting a twin glow, and says the ritual is almost complete. He tells you to speak your choice, to name what you want from the light. You open your mouth, but no words come. The lantern's flame flares, and you feel that hum again, stronger now, like a heartbeat in the earth. Lila reaches out, her hand hovering near yours, but she doesn't touch you. She says it's not too late to walk away, but her voice trembles, like she's not sure she believes it. You look between her and Gideon, the lantern's light binding you all, and feel the weight of a choice you don't fully understand. The ring burns, the charm glows, and the night waits, its silence louder than any sound. You stand in the circle of stones, the lantern's flame casting a warm glow that feels both inviting and heavy. Lila's words linger, her warning about walking away trembling in the air, while Gideon's steady presence anchors the moment. The ring on your finger pulses with a faint heat, and the charm in your hand glows brighter, its carved lantern shape mirroring the one before you. You feel caught, not by force, but by something deeper, a pull that tugs at your heart like a forgotten promise. The night is still, the festival's distant music a faint echo, as if the world has paused to hear your choice. You look at the lantern, its flame steady but alive, shifting with shapes you can't quite grasp. The figure you saw before, the woman with familiar eyes, haunts you, her image flickering in your mind. You ask Gideon, what happens if you choose to stay, your voice quieter than you intended. He tilts his head, his midnight coat blending with the shadows, and says staying means becoming part of the festival, part of Hollow Vale's endless night. His words are calm, but there's a weight to them, like he's speaking from experience. You glance at Lila, hoping for clarity, but her storm cloud eyes are fixed on the lantern, her expression a mix of longing and fear. You step closer to the lantern, the stone's symbols glowing faintly underfoot. The charm in your hand feels like it's humming, its warmth spreading through you, and you wonder if it's trying to tell you something. You ask Lila why she keeps appearing, why she seems tied to this place. She hesitates, her figure shimmering slightly, like she's caught between worlds. She says she made her choice long ago, and now she's bound to the lanterns, to the festival's heart. Her voice is soft, almost breaking, and you feel a pang, wondering what she gave up to stay. Gideon steps forward, his lantern held high, its flame casting twin shadows across the stones. He tells you the ritual is simple. Speak your heart to the lantern, and it will answer. You ask what it wants, and he smiles, a sad curve of his lips, saying it wants what you're ready to give. You feel the ring tighten on your finger, the charm pulse in your hand, and the air grows sweeter, heavier, like the woods are closing in. You look into the lantern's flame, and the figure appears again, clearer now. She's young, her hair catching the light, her eyes searching yours. You feel a tug like she's calling you, and your heart aches with a loss you can't name. You hear a rustle, and Clara appears at the edge of the circle, her moon-embroidered shawl glinting in the lantern's glow. She doesn't step inside, her presence quiet, but steady, like a guide waiting for you to decide. You ask her what the lantern wants from you, and she says it's not about want, but about belonging. She tells you a story, her voice soft and slow, about a woman who stood here once, holding a ring like yours. The woman saw someone in the lantern, someone she loved, and chose to stay to find them again. Clara's eyes meet yours, and you feel a chill, wondering if the woman in the flame is someone you know. You look at the ring, it's silver warm now, and feel that memory again. Laughter, a hand in yours, a promise made under lantern light. You shake your head, trying to clear it, but the image holds stronger now. You ask Clara if the woman found what she was looking for, and she nods, but her smile is tinged with sadness. She says some things are found only by staying, but staying comes at a cost. You glance at Lila, who's watching you now, her form flickering like a candle about to go out. She whispers that you can still leave, that the festival doesn't own you yet. The lantern's flame flares, and you feel its pull stronger than ever. You step closer, your hand hovering over the glass, and the hum in the air grows louder, like a song only you can hear. You feel the weight of their eyes, Gideon's calm certainty, Lila's quiet urgency, Clara's gentle watchfulness. You speak, your voice trembling, saying you want to know who the last guest is, why the lantern calls you. The flame shifts, and the woman's face appears again, her eyes so familiar you can't look away. Your heart pounds, and you feel the ring, the charm, the lantern all pulling you toward something you're not sure you're ready to face. Gideon steps closer, his voice low, saying the lantern's answer is coming. Lila reaches out, her hand stopping just short of yours, and says to be sure, to know what you're giving up. Clara remains at the edge, her shawl catching the light, and nods as if she trusts you to choose. The lantern's flame burns brighter, its light wrapping around you, and you feel the night shift, the air alive with possibility. You stand at the edge of a choice, the ring heavy, the charm burning, and the woman in the flame waiting, her eyes pleading for you to decide. You stand in the stone circle, the lantern's flame burning brighter, its light weaving a cocoon around you. The woman's face in the flame lingers in your mind, her eyes so familiar they pull at something deep within you, a thread of memory you can't quite untangle. The ring on your finger feels heavier, the charm in your hand pulses with heat, and the air hums with a quiet energy, like the festival itself is waiting for your next move. Gideon stands close, his lantern casting long shadows, while Lila hovers at the edge of the circle, her form flickering like a fading star. Clara remains outside the stones, her moonlit shawl a soft glow in the dark, her eyes urging you to choose. You take a breath, the sweet, heavy air filling your lungs, and ask the lantern who the woman is, why her face feels like a piece of your own heart. Your voice is steady, but your hands tremble, the charm's warmth spreading through you. The flame shifts, and for a moment, the woman's face sharpens, her lips moving as if to speak. You lean closer, drawn to the light, and hear a whisper, not from the lantern but from within, your name woven into a melody you've heard before. The memory flashes again. Laughter, a dance under lanterns, a promise sealed with a ring. You gasp, stepping back, the ring burning on your finger. Gideon speaks, his voice low and calm, saying the lantern shows what you've lost, what you might find again. You turn to him, asking if the woman is the last guest, but he shakes his head, his smile gentle. He says the last guest is whoever answers the lantern's call, whoever chooses to stay. You glance at Lila, her storm cloud eyes glistening, and ask if she saw someone in the lantern too. She nods, her voice barely audible, saying she saw someone she couldn't let go. Her words carry a weight, and you wonder what choice she made, why she seemed so tied to this place. Clara steps closer, still outside the circle, and tells you a story, her voice soft as moonlight. She speaks of a couple who came to the festival long ago, their love bright as the lanterns. They danced, laughed, and promised to return every year. But one night, one of them wandered too far, drawn to the lantern's call, and never came back. The others stayed, lighting lanterns each year, hoping to find them. Clara's eyes meet yours, and you feel a chill, the ring on your finger suddenly too tight. You ask if the story is about the woman in the flame, but Clara only says the lanterns keep their promises, even if it takes years. You look at the lantern, its flame steady now, and feel the pull stronger than ever. The woman's face appears again, her eyes pleading, and you feel a surge of longing, not just yours but hers, as if she's reaching across time. You ask Lila what happens if you stay, your voice breaking. She steps closer, her form shimmering, and says, staying means becoming part of the festival, forever tied to its light. Her words are heavy, and you see a flicker of regret in her eyes, like she's warning you even as she's bound to this place. You turn to the lantern, your hand hovering over the glass, and feel the hum in the air grow louder, like a heartbeat echoing through the stones. You speak, your voice soft but clear, saying you want to know her, to understand why she feels so close. The flame flares, and the woman's face becomes vivid, her features sharp, her eyes locking onto yours. You see her hand, wearing a ring like yours, and the memory floods back. A dance, a promise, a night when you felt whole. Your heart aches, and you realize the woman is someone you loved, someone you lost, though the how and why are still shadows. Gideon steps forward, his lantern casting a twin glow, and says the ritual is nearly done. He tells you to speak your choice, to name what you'll give the lantern. You hesitate, and the ring burning, the charm pulsing, the woman's face fading, but her eyes lingering. Lila whispers that you can still walk away, that the festival doesn't own you yet, but her voice is faint, like she's slipping further into the light. Clara watches, her expression calm but expectant, as if she knows what's coming. You look at the lantern, its flame a beacon in the night, and feel the weight of the choice pressing down. You want to find her, to understand the memory, but the cost feels heavy. The festival's pull, both a promise and a trap. You speak, your voice trembling, saying you'll stay, just for tonight, to see her again. The flame flares brighter, the stone's symbols glowing, and the air hums with a song that feels like home. Leela gasps, her form fading, and Gideon nods, his eyes sad but knowing. The lantern's light wraps around you, warm and heavy, and you feel the night shift, drawing you closer to the truth. You stand in the stone circle, the lantern's flame blazing brighter, its light wrapping you in a warmth that feels both comforting and inescapable. Your words, spoken moments ago, echo in your mind. You'll stay just for tonight to see her again. The woman's face in the flame lingers, her eyes pulling at a memory you can't fully grasp, a love you know but can't name. The ring on your finger burns, the charm in your hand pulses with a steady glow, and the air hums with a melody that feels like it's always been part of you. Gideon stands nearby, his lantern casting shadows that dance across the stones, his expression calm but heavy with something unspoken. Lila is gone, her form faded into the night, and Clara watches from outside the circle, her moonlit shawl a faint shimmer in the dark. You feel the festival's pull stronger now, like a tide carrying you toward something inevitable. The lantern's flame shifts and the woman's face appears again, clearer than ever. Her smile is soft, her eyes filled with a longing that mirrors your own. You reach for the lantern, your hand trembling, and the flame flares, its light flooding the circle. The memory comes sharper now. A night like this, lanterns glowing, her laughter as you danced, her hand in yours, a promise sealed with a ring. You gasp, the ring on your finger feeling like it's part of you, its weight anchoring you to this moment. You ask Gideon who she is, your voice barely above a whisper. He steps closer, his lantern's light merging with the one before you, and says she's someone you've always known, someone the lanterns brought back to you. His words are gentle, but they carry a finality that makes your chest tighten. You glance at the ring, its silver gleaming, and feel the memory shift, revealing more. A moment of parting, her figure fading under lantern light, your promise to find her again. You shake your head, trying to make sense of it, but the lantern's glow holds you, its warmth urging you to stay. Clara speaks from outside the circle, her voice soft as a lullaby. She tells you the lanterns keep memories alive, binding those who love to the festival's heart. She says the woman you see is a piece of your past, a piece you can reclaim if you choose. You ask what it means to stay, what you'll lose, and Clara's smile is sad but kind. She says staying means joining the lanterns, becoming part of their light, forever tied to Hollow Vale. You feel a chill, the charm in your hand burning brighter, and wonder if the woman is waiting for you to join her or to let her go. The lantern's flame pulses, and you see her again, her hand reaching out, the ring on her finger matching yours. You feel a surge of longing, a need to touch her, to know her name. You step closer, your hand hovering over the lantern's glass, and the hum in the air grows louder, like a song calling you home. You speak, your voice steady now, saying you want to see her, to understand the promise you made. The flame flares, and the circle of stones glows brighter, their symbols shimmering like stars. You feel a shift, like the world is tilting, and the woman's face becomes so clear you could swear she's standing before you. You hear a soft gasp, and Thomas appears at the edge of the circle, his scarred face catching the lantern's light. He looks at you, his eyes filled with a mix of awe and sorrow, and says you're closer than he ever was. You ask what he means, but he shakes his head, his voice rough. He says he saw someone too once, but couldn't make the choice you're making now. He steps back, his figure blending with the shadows, and tells you to be sure, to know what you're giving up. His words echo Lila's, and you feel a pang, wondering how many have stood here, caught in the lantern's pull. You turn back to the lantern, the woman's face still there, her eyes pleading. You feel the ring, the charm, the weight of the night pressing down. You speak again, saying you'll stay just to know her, to remember. The flame surges, and the air hums with a melody that feels like love, like loss, like home. The stone's symbols flare, and you feel a warmth spread through you, like the lantern is claiming you. Gideon nods, his expression soft but solemn, and says the ritual is nearly complete. Clara watches, her eyes glistening, and you feel the woman's presence stronger now, like she's reaching across the light to find you. The lantern's flame burns brighter, its light filling the circle, and you feel yourself slipping, not into darkness, but into something deeper, something eternal. The woman's hand reaches out and you reach back, your fingers brushing the air where the flame meets the night. You feel a connection, a promise kept, and the world softens, the lantern's glow wrapping you in their endless embrace. You stand within the stone circle, the lantern's flame blazing with a light that feels like it's part of you now. Your hand hovers in the air, reaching for the woman in the flame, her face so vivid you can almost feel her breath. The ring on your finger burns, the charm in your hand pulses with a glow that matches the lantern's heart, and the air hums with a melody that weaves your name into its notes. Gideon stands beside you, his lantern casting a twin glow, his eyes calm but heavy with the weight of what's unfolding. Clara remains outside the circle, her moonlit shawl shimmering, her gaze soft but knowing. Thomas is gone, his warning echoing faintly, and Lila's absence feels like a hole in the night. You feel the festival's pull stronger than ever, like a tide carrying you toward a shore you can't see. The woman's eyes hold yours, her smile a mix of joy and sorrow, and the memory floods back. A night under lanterns, her laughter, your promise to never let go. You know her now, her name rising like a whisper from your heart, a name you spoke years ago, before the festival, before the lanterns claimed her. You speak it aloud, soft and trembling, and the flame flares, its light flooding the circle, wrapping you in warmth that feels like coming home. You ask Gideon if this is what staying means, to be with her again, and he nods, his voice low. He says the lanterns keep their promises, binding those who choose to their light. You glance at Clara, hoping for one last story, and she steps closer, her voice gentle as moonlight. She tells you of a love that outlasted time, a couple who found each other in the festival's glow, one waiting in the light, the other searching in the dark. Her words are a lullaby, and you feel the ring tighten, the charm pulse, as if they're part of the same promise. You look at the lantern, the woman's face clearer than ever, her hand reaching out, the ring on her finger mirroring yours. You feel her love, her longing, and your heart aches with the weight of it. You speak, your voice steady now, saying you'll stay, not just for tonight but forever, to be with her. The flame surges, the stone symbols glowing like stars, and the air hums with a song that feels like forever. You reach for the flame, your fingers brushing the glass, and the world shifts, the light pulling you in, soft and warm like falling into a dream. You see her now, not just in the flame but before you, her form solid, her eyes bright with tears. She takes your hand, her touch warm and real, and you feel the years melt away, the loss and searching fading into the light. The lanterns around you pulse, their glow merging with the one in the circle, and you feel yourself becoming part of them, your heart tied to the festival's endless night. Gideon steps back, his lantern dimming, his smile sad but content, as if he's seen this moment before. Clara whispers something you can't hear, her shawl catching the light, and you know she's saying goodbye. The woman pulls you close, her arms wrapping around you, and you feel whole, the promise kept at last. The lantern's light grows brighter, filling the circle, the hill, the night, until it's all you see. You hear the festival's music, faint but clear, like a memory woven into the glow. You're not afraid, not anymore, as the light claims you, binding you to her, to the lanterns, to Hollow Vale. The world softens, the stones, the hill, the night fading into a warmth that feels like love, like home, like forever. You don't notice when the circle empties, when Gideon and Clara slip away, their figures blending with the shadows. You don't hear the festival's music fade, the lanterns in the square dimming as the night ends. You're with her now, your hand in hers, the ring and charm blowing softly, their light part of you. The festival continues, its lanterns lit for another year, another guest, but you're no longer searching. You're here in the light where you belong. Some stories stay with us long after the words fade. Let this one rest beside you. Sleep deeply. And if it returns in your dreams, perhaps it was never truly gone.